To the first segment on flexibility. Scott and I are going to be demonstrating for you a couple of stretches addressing flexibility of the muscles from the knee down into the foot, and we're going to be showing you a low back stretch. Scott, are you ready? Okay, so we're going to be addressing his right leg now, and we're going to bring the foot back, and we're going to turn his foot very straight forward. This is a stretch that you can do for yourself to help you with tight calf muscles, tight Achilles tendon, and muscles of the foot. Now Scott, if you'll place both hands on your knee, and I want you to press down through your knee just like that. The important aspects of this stretch would be that you're applying your own pressure, so you can determine when you've pressed too much. Your foot needs to be straight forward. This stretch can be done with your shoes on or off, and it's great to do this right before you get up after sitting for a long period of time. The instructions that we would have for any of our stretches that you're going to see in the flexibility component would be to hold for about 40 to 60 seconds on them. Stretching as a whole can be beneficial to you done at the start of a day, at the very end of the day, and any other time of the day that you would like to, especially if you've been sitting or lying down for a long period of time. Scott's already held this for a minute. That's how we stretch the lower leg. You'll find if you're out walking for a long period of time or standing still that the muscles in the bottom of your foot are going to get tired. In an effort to try to establish greater flexibility and to relax those muscles once they've gotten too tense, it's good if you can take your shoe off and roll the bottom of your foot with some other hard surface. You could use a device that we're showing here called a tiger tail, a PVC pipe, or some other hard surface like a ball, a lacrosse ball or a baseball. Scott's going to demonstrate for you here how to roll the bottom of your foot to relax it for a period at your own discretion, maybe a minute or more at a time. Go ahead, Scott. It's okay to press pretty firmly into that device and really get some recovery from that. It's likely that you're going to find times that your low back is going to feel very stiff and sore, potentially even weak. Most likely you are using these muscles to strategize as a main component of your balance throughout the day. So you're trying to engage those muscles to hold your waistline still so you don't have a significant loss of balance while standing or walking. So it would be very typical for you to have extra tension in those muscles built up because you're using them more than another person might be. So what I'd like to demonstrate for you now is a method by which you can reduce the tension and increase the flexibility of your low back muscles. Scott's going to bend forward now, and he's going to try to keep his knees together and feet together so that we're really stretching the very lowest portion of his back, which is likely to become very tight and tense for you. Go ahead, Scott. What you'll notice with this is Scott's going to keep his back rounded, and as I mentioned, his knees together and feet together. You'll additionally notice now that he's actually going to be clasping his hands together so that he can pull his knees together with the force of his arms. Again, as we've instructed already, we'd like you to hold this stretch for about 40 to 60 seconds. An alternate stretch for your low back would include you pulling your knees up to your chest. Sometimes that's more convenient for you and may even feel like a more successful stretch to you. We're going to use the tiger tail again. Again, you could use a PVC pipe or another implement for this. Scott's going to be using this to pull his knees to his chest. Okay, Scott. So he's going to lie down, keep his knees together, ideally heads down, that's great, and he's using the force of his arms to draw his knees up to his chest, again addressing the flexibility here in the low back. As you've already heard, we'd like for you to hold this stretch for about 40 to 60 seconds. This can be an essential stretch to do the very last thing at night before you go to bed, so when you wake up, you don't actually feel that stiffness that you have been experiencing. Similar to your muscles in the lowest portion of your foot and the bottom of your foot, you're going to be using the muscles of your wrist and fingers a lot throughout the day. It'll be natural for those muscles in the hand and in the forearm to get tight, just like we just showed you with the muscles in the lower aspect of the leg. Anatomically, they're very similar, the lower arm and the lower leg. Steve's now going to show you a stretch to stretch the wrist and finger musculature using just 2 hands and no other device. Go ahead, Steve. So the critical portions of this stretch, the aspects you want to pay attention to, are the elbow being straight, one hand bringing the other one back so that the wrist is bent back and the fingers are bent back. This should be a comfortable stretch where you're feeling the muscles are stretched, and you should not be experiencing pain with this. As with every other stretch we've talked about so far, we'd like for you to hold this about 40 to 60 seconds. Key times to introduce this stretch in your life would be after you've been keyboarding for some period of time, perhaps after you've been driving for a long period of time, or at the end of your day. You may find that you'll have a natural tendency toward a rounding of your mid-back, or people are telling you to stand up straighter, that your head is forward. We'd like to introduce a stretch for you now to help address that aspect of your body. I'm going to take this device. This is a foam roll that's actually cut in half. These can be purchased as a half foam roll. And I'm going to put that between Steve and a firm back chair. We'd like to align this straight up and down the spine. So essentially what we're trying to do with the foam roll is hold the spine forward and bring the rest of the musculature back. A stretch that you can do for yourself at home using just this foam roll or a very large bath towel that's rolled up with a firm chair can be done just like this several times per day. Steve's going to bring his hands back behind the chair, clasp his hands together, and he's going to begin to use the foam roll to push the spine forward and to bring the shoulders back. You'll feel this stretch across the front of the chest, and if you bring your head back and keep it slightly tipped down like this, you'll additionally feel a stretch in some of those muscles that get very tight and tense in the back of your neck. As you might have already guessed, I'm going to tell you to do this stretch for about 40 to 60 seconds. This is a great stretch to interrupt your workday or to end your day as well. Jamie's going to show us 2 alternate stretches for the calf muscles now. We're going to start with a short leg stretch like we did with Scott a few moments ago when he showed us a stretch in sitting. Okay, Jamie. So we're going to take her foot and point it straight at the wall, and then we're going to bring the knee up against the wall and hold it there. The essential portions of this stretch are that the foot is pointed straight forward, the heel is on the ground, and I want your leg resting up against the wall. So the muscles right here that we're trying to stretch are completely resting and shut off. You know this already. We're going to hold this stretch for 40 to 60 seconds. Now, an alternate stretch for a different set of the muscles in the calf would be to bring the leg back, keep the knee straight in this stretch, and again the critical components would be foot is straight forward, heel is on the floor, and the knee straight. It doesn't matter so much what you're going to do with the other foot. Keep your body supported with your hands on the wall so that the muscles you're trying to stretch can be relaxed. Now Jamie's going to show us a couple of stretches, 2 options for your hamstrings. That's the muscles in the back of your leg from the knee up to your hip. On the first stretch, Jamie's going to bend forward slightly at the waistline, and we'll turn her leg to point it outward a little bit. That's going to help her stretch the outside of the hamstrings. You'll hold that stretch separately for 40 to 60 seconds. You may feel that you've got more tightness in the inside of the hamstrings. In that case, you would want to turn the foot also inward. Again, the critical components here are body is bent forward a little bit, knee is straight, and then whichever direction or both feels like you are getting a stretch or benefit from this movement. You'll note in both of them, we like to have Jamie's foot somewhat angled up like this. That'll accentuate the stretch. Again, holding for 40 to 60 seconds would be indicated. Now, I'd like to show you an alternate stretch for the hamstrings. Jamie's going to show us how to do that. You can either do it on a bed, up against a wall, or on the floor. Jamie, go ahead. You'll notice the essential components remain the same here. Now, we want to have Jamie's knee straight. We want to have her foot, particularly the heel, up against the wall. And then you'll watch as she pulls her foot back and points it up. You're going to perceive a little bit better stretch when you create that motion at the ankle as well. Now, there is another nice stretch that can be had with the opposite leg while you're in this position. Jamie's showing that to us now. She's going to scoot over just a little bit to her left and drop her left leg off the edge. And each one of you will feel a different level of stretch depending on the amount that you bend your knee. Jamie's going to pull her foot back just a little bit, and you'll perceive a stretch right up here in the front of the thigh, perhaps even in the front of the hip right here.